Hello and welcome. This is episode 15 of Voorhees Tiger Vision, and I'm here with Coach Cabral Huff, head men's basketball coach at Voorhees College, and we have a special guest with us today as we take you through the summer. We bringing you nothing but the best all summer. I just want y'all to understand that. Y'all lucky I'm not screaming and hollering on here. I'm trying to. I'm trying to keep everything at bay, but this is going to be a great one. Coach, I'll toss it over to you, Huff, and you want to introduce everybody to our guest this afternoon.
Well, we've got Crosby, head coach of Bamberg Earhart High School, which is it's basically home for us, man. It's like 10 minutes away. So when I first got down here, man, I was able to get in their gym, watch practice, go to their games, and we were blessed to actually get his son, one of the members of his team, to commit to us very early in the process to become a Voorhees Tiger. But through that process, man, Corey and I have gotten to get to know each other, building my roots here in South Carolina. Watched his team grow this year. They won 20 games this year and went to the playoffs, and didn't finish the way he wanted them to, but I know he was really excited about their season, man. So, it's a pleasure to have him on the show. And, when you can do these kind of things, because at different levels, the Division I and Division II, we couldn't do this. But at NAI, we can have real relationships, which is what I really love to have, with families that we're bringing in and families that we're going to continue to grow here at Voorhees.
100%. This is huge. I love it, Coach. We know how much you mean to the Georgia community, and Coach Crosby. I'm sure this won't be the first time you hear this.
Yeah.
It was a blow for us to lose Huff to South Carolina. Yeah. That was a blow. We lost a lot, but I'm happy to see that he's been embraced in South Carolina as much as he had his arms open to the state. I'm happy to see that he's being embraced South Carolina. Coach, what was your first impressions of Huff? First meeting him, first time kind of getting to know him. What were your thoughts on that?
We came in, and I was in the middle. I coached football also, and so I was coming out of practice, and one of our assistant coaches brought him into our gym. And he was just sitting there observing practice, and we went through our that was kind of our little preseason with conditioning stuff, and we just getting the season started, and just getting a chance to talk to him. You feel somebody out, and then when he talked to our team, and I'm like, this guy got something about him, it is something about coach. I've been in this recruitment process a lot with football, and then you get the feel of the coaches. You know that general coach, that guy that's gonna shoot a lot of stuff to you. Coach Huff was just straight off the hook, man. He was just straight off for real, telling me what we got to work on. And not just my kids, are just things I could get better as a coach. And just getting to learn them, So we just built our relationship. He brought us into practice one day, and then I just saw how he ran practice. Man, it was just awesome. That was just something, man, that I'm like, man, this guy really got it, man. He just got that, somebody, them guys just got that dog, just got that itch about him. And he was one of them guys, man. And, it's just a blessing to have him at Voorhees. I'm telling you, it's just everybody around here is on fire about this guy. He's hot right now. He's the hottest thing. He's hottest to Beyonce right now. So I'm telling you.
And I think we got a new nickname, man. I'm going to Coach Beyonce in a minute. But no, I'm with you, right? Same thing. He and I getting a chance to really meet. It was one of the first things, offered me an opportunity to come and watch practice. And I, like you, went up there and I look and I see the clock is running and the drills is just going boom, boom, boom. Yeah. They're going from drill to drill, from concept to concept, teaching, right? Yeah. But there's constant movement during the practice. So I was amazed at that. I still a lot of stuff. I got my memory bank, my notebook full, Coach. We ran Georgia this year for AAU. Yeah. I won't tell anybody what it is. Knows what I'm talking about. We ran it.
Yeah, I stole his whole practice script. He left it in the bleachers on the seat, and I took about 2 or 3 copies. And my kids like, man, what coach got new, man? We put them defensive slides in, and man, I'm telling you, I'm like, I just can't wait to go back and watch it. I might don't even go watch my son. I might go steal some stuff from him.
Listen, Coach, I'm gonna tell you something. What I'm waiting to get, and I haven't got yet, those baseline out of bounds plays. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I've been keeping my eye on some stuff. He's got some stuff that I want to get to.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. But no, I think that's awesome. I love it because to me, doing what you're supposed to do as a coach, right? You got to be able to draw a line around your state, a line around your backyard, and really recruit kids in your backyard and get to know kids in your backyard. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
As this, and we're definitely going to get to Jacoby's decision here in the show, but educate us a little bit about South Carolina basketball, right? There's still a lot of people from the Georgia and Atlanta area that watch this show, but I know how good South Carolina basketball has been. I've been fortunate enough to have relationships with people at Legacy Early College and places like that, so I've been able to experience it, but just help educate our guys on how good and how deep the talent level is in the state of South Carolina.
You know, it's always been deep, man. I think our kids didn't have an opportunity to get out. AAU was big for our kids because AAU wasn't really a big thing back in South Carolina a couple of years ago. Well, I'd say about 10 years ago. And then AAU became big. Our kids, you know, got a chance to start playing against national kids like in Atlanta, you know, in the city of Atlanta, in the Augusta area. And then, you know, going out. And I think what happened was, you know, we got to give hats off to Upward Stars. You know, Upward Stars started at in Spartanburg. Mm-hmm. You know, so that Upward Stars Center was big for us, man. And then Rock Hill put in the facility. And then Myrtle Beach put in one. And then North Charleston put in one. So you had a chance to start getting kids to play. Now you had kids from Virginia, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia coming down to play in Rock Hill. And now AAU basketball in South Carolina became big. So you start to see the talent level come out. It was always some dogs here in South Carolina, man. Call some guys. I mean, my brother was a basketball coach before I became here, probably about in 2008. You know, he was the last team that took us to the lower state championship, last coach anyway. And he had a kid, Eric Buckner, that's overseas playing ball. He played for Georgia State. I mean, he was big time. But nobody could get a chance to see him because they even had to go to Atlanta and play, and then you didn't have a close range to get your talent level seen. But I'm telling you, it's dogs here in South Carolina, man. You know, it's a lot of kids that, you know, in small areas that nobody know about, man. But, you know, basketball here is up, and it still is up. I don't think we hit our peak yet, like a lot of other states, like North Carolina and Georgia. But we're on the rise. I mean, it's a lot of dogs coming through. I got a couple of young boys that's gonna be some monsters, man. And I'm just excited because they get a chance to play with some other kids. You know, we just played in Aiken against one of the top 8th grade guards in Georgia. So they get a chance to see that, man. But it's up. You know, the basketball here in South Carolina is on the rise, man.
You know, one of the big things, Mondre, that I've taken from it, just like Coach said, is, you know, there are a lot of dogs in small places, like where normally people don't go. It's off the beaten path. But once you get here, you're able to find those dogs. And then the other part that South Carolina, which is different than Georgia, is that they allow those 8th graders to play up, man. You know, those young kids to play up. So they're getting that experience early, man. I know that's a lot of times they're done up north. I know New York has done it a lot, but that allows those young kids. So those young kids that he's talking about, when I went to their practice, I'm watching them already. Like, man, that kid's got a shot right there, right?
That is a awesome experience. You can't really putting them in that competitive environment and being able to play against those older guys. Like, it's just gonna make those guys so much better. And holding them back to their age group, I agree, that's huge. Coach Crosby, you touched on something that was tremendous as well. That facility in Rock Hill is big time.
Oh man,
that facility is big time. Yeah. I would say for the people who are listening that have a point of reference, to me, the Rock Hill facility is even better than Lake Point.
Yep.
Bigger. You got one side with all the courts like Lake Point, but then you basically have an arena.
Oh yeah.
For your
That's
main.
where everybody want to play at, man. Can I get to the arena? Can I get to the? You don't get to the arena, man. You might as well go ahead and go home on Sunday.
Big time, beautiful facility, absolutely gorgeous facility. It looks like a professional arena, man. So I'm happy for the state. It's needed. Kids need that. Not only the opportunity to get those guys to come in from everywhere to play in a space like that, but to me, I love that kids get an opportunity to play under the lights, as I call it, because that experience, I've seen it. For us, it's just a game just like any other game. We're going to coach a lot of these games the same. But for those kids, a lot of times, they talk about that for years and years afterwards. It's such a motivating force for a lot of those kids. Coach Crosby, is that something that you see from your kids that when they get an opportunity to play in those venues, that a little more pep in their step or eyes are a little bigger?
Yeah, we took our young. We got, I have 2 8th graders, man, that's playing. They played for the championship, and a couple of 10th graders played in that group. And man, that's what they want, man. It's the lights. When they get a chance you want to play in that arena. When you go to Rock Hill, you want to be the last team that's playing at 5:00, on Sundays. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you talking about, I love Jacoby, that's my son, but man, my baby boy and Josh Goodman, Chanson, Crosby, AJ Williams, them guys play on the same AAU team together. Eric Parker, I got 4 or 5 kids just playing on one AAU team together. And I mean, and they smoking cats, man. So and they just want to get on that big stage, And my thing was just trying to hold them back so they won't get out there and get that spirit so quick. But I mean, they ready to bite right now, So they said, if you don't get me now, you ain't gonna get me for the next 3-4 years, That's their motto, You gotta kind of, because they real talented, man. It's a real man. So that's what they want, that big spotlight,
Coach, what does that say for you for the next few years as the head coach over at Denver? Like what is that? What does that say? Guys might be in trouble in your.
I don't know, man. But here, I live in a house where if you win, everything is happy. My wife, she'll cook a lot of dinners if you win, but you lose, she give you that cold eye, that that stinky look a little bit. And, so here in Bamberg, man, it's all about these kids used to winning. Jacoby and them team kind of set the standard for us, but because they was a little behind, a little 8 ball or some things. But these young kids now, they known for winning games. They haven't lost games since middle school. They probably 40 and about 4, man. It's crazy. So they used to win it. When they lose, if they lose one game, it's like they lost the whole championship. So they used to win it, and that's the thing, man. So it's exciting. It just make you have to work hard as a coach because you don't want to put them in a situation you caused them to fail. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta when they that good, you gotta better yourself. So, and that's the thing about it, man. Get them to the standard they want to be at.
Huff, that's something that I've heard you mention a lot too, in recruiting of how important it is for you to recruit winners. That isn't just something that you look at like it happens by chance. Like you feel like that's something in that kid that causes that to happen. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
You've got to recruit winners because there's something in their DNA that they don't accept losing. Like there's a difference in saying I hate losing than saying I love winning. Like that kid that loves winning, they're gonna do whatever it takes to win, right? And so in our program, like we count wins, we're competitive in everything we do. So whether it's the shooting drill, whether it's shell drill, there's going to be a winner and loser. And so in that case, that shows that competitive nature that we want on this team. We want guys to have a chip on their shoulder, and part of that chip is they want to win. And the other part is we've got to recruit guys that are better than our level. So that chip on their shoulder has to be that I got I got looked over by a D1 or a D2 school. So the fact that I want to win and I'm competitive and I got a chip on my shoulder, that's that dog that we want to have in them. But they got to know how to win, man. So we look at that when we're trying to recruit guys. Like, did they win in that whatever program they're coming from, whether it's JUCO or transfer or high school? It doesn't matter.
I'll toss this question out to both of you guys. Do you feel like having winners in your program, we understand that it changes the outcome of a game, but does it even change how your practices operate and run?
Coach Huff, you want to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Hey, man, I tell them, when your best players is your hardest workers. I tell them that all the time, and the thing about it, we tell our kids is your best player on your team supposed to be is your hardest worker. Everybody else don't get to that standard, and that's why I should tell Jacoby and Justin and Brendan is I want my best players to be my hardest workers because, that's what you're going to get, man. It's going to drive your practice. It's going to drive them to be winning, because they don't want to fail. That's the thing about it, man. And I always tell our kids this. I tell my coaches this. It's two animals in the world, man. You got an alligator. When he get full, he's lazy. That's the worst animal in the world. But a shark is always hungry. You got to have a shark mentality. You got to always be ready to eat at any time. Because, and I tell my kids that all the time. I'm never satisfied. I want to get better in everything. I want to get better as a man. I listen to Coach Huff all the time. I read his stuff on Twitter. How to be a better person. So, because if you get complacent, you get full, you're gonna get lazy, and that's when you're gonna get beat. And so that's my mentality, man. Be a shark, be a ready attack at any time, and don't never settle. Settle for being average.
Man, he said it all, Dre. Like, the only thing I add is we talk about being 1% better every day in our program, so we can stack those small wins all the time. And that's not just gonna carry over on the court. It's gonna carry over in life. It's going to carry over into your class. We talked about last week, our last show, about us wanting to be the best, have the best team GPA of all athletics on campus. Like, you can't do that if you don't have winners, if they don't understand what winning is like, and so that's really important for us, man. I think when you have winners in your program, when they compete about everything that they're doing, then they're not going to come up short, in things that matter. They're not gonna cut corners and not touch the line when you're running. Not run the play all the way through. They're gonna get on somebody else when the time comes. And then us as coaches, we're gonna get on the best player on the team, just like we get on the so-called worst player on the team, or the player that doesn't get the same amount of minutes. And the one thing anybody can say about me is that's what we're gonna do. Coach came to our practice and he saw me get on the best player, and he saw me get on the player that didn't get a lot of minutes. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter.
Setting that standard of excellence, man. I absolutely love that. Guys, can you teach a kid to be a winner? Is that something that you can develop in a kid, or do you feel like some kids are born with that competitive streak and some kids are not?
So I think kids are born with it, but I still think you can teach it. So you can always get better. Right. So there may be kids that come in and don't have that winning mentality, right, for whatever reason, but you can teach it. Right. So I think that's why, especially at the high school and the AAU and even middle school levels, that's where you begin to teach that winning mentality about doing things right all the time, because that's really the winning mentality. Are you doing things right all the time? Are you doing things right when nobody's watching? Right. So that's really important. And then when they get to us, once we are watching them, we saw them at high school, we saw them at AAU or whatever the case, we can tell that winning mentality. Are they cheering for their teammates when they're not on the floor, right? What's their body language like? That's winning mentality. So I think you can still teach that. And then that DNA, that other part is just ingrained in them, man. Like that competitive fire, you're just trying to build on top of that.
I think you're going to have, everybody got that different edge. Everybody got that different get up, that dog in them, whatever. One thing you can't really teach is you're not going to really teach a kid that dog. You're going to get them better, but some kids are going to have that different bite, that different dog. I always say that. But you also can teach them, because I took a team. Now, it's not about me. it was the senior leadership of Jacoby and Justin Baxter and Brendan was they was 5-15 or 5-18 or something like 5-13. They weren't used to that winning, and I just brought enough edge to just talk, just kind of made them believe it, and like Coach said, stack small wins, man. So I had to start doing like the small things to teach them how to win, because also, man, winners breed winning, but losing also breeds losers, So I mean, if you get used to losing, that's become. I mean, it's like smoking a cigarette, man. It becomes a habit,
Yeah.
So and that's some things you could teach kids how to win. That edge of winning. It's all about what you prepare them for. And that's every day. You got to take. We got to win at the small things first. And I tell kids that. I said, man, we just got to worry about. Everybody was like, how we gonna get better? We just got to worry about winning the first game, and let's get to the next game. And I remember I told Jacoby one day he came home and he was, oh, mom. I was like, things about it was we got to learn to win practice, man. We got to learn to win the day of practice. Let's win this practice today, and then we'll worry about winning tomorrow, because then that's going to win games down the road. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
I agree. One step at a time. If you do enough winning, however, you end up like these guys. You always talk about legacy and how important it is for you to recruit players that want to leave a legacy behind, something that's probably not talked about enough, especially at the high school level and at the college level. Right. It seems like with basketball, we just skip right over all of that to the NBA a lot of times and don't talk about legacy. You've had these three gentlemen that have won a lot of games and done a lot in their career and had their jerseys retired and have a lasting legacy that they can always come back to, that they can tell their kids and grandkids about. Do you want to say a few words about these guys up here?
Man, the first thing I say is that, great players make great coaches, right, Coach Crosby?
You're right about that, buddy.
So they definitely helped me. But the one thing about those three guys, and you talk about leaving a legacy, is that all three of those guys played all 4 years at the same high school. And that right now in this day and age is very rare. Yes. Very rare that you do that. Especially, I don't know about South Carolina coaches much, but I know in Georgia that's very rare, right?
Oh, but, man, they leave anytime.
But you talk about those three guys and talk about leaving a legacy, and they could have went anywhere else. And I tell this story to anybody. I told those guys, you can go somewhere else and average 30 points a game. But if you want to leave a legacy where your family can come back to this school that you went to and they can look up somewhere and say, man, that's my pop, that's my dad. Whether it's your jersey retired, whether it's a championship or a combination of both. That's what we're trying to do. And we want players that want to leave a legacy here at Voorhees. So just using those three as an example, that's why we recruited guys like Jacoby. That's why we recruited guys like Trey Frazier, and guys that we already have that we recruited last year, the Hector Rosarios, the Jordan Blues, the guys that have been here, Taiwan Bowies and Terrell Wyndhams, and the list goes on and on. Guys who want to leave a legacy. And that mindset was a mindset that got us through the season. Like, there are a lot of people who use this COVID season as a throwaway season. Oh, man, we getting our year back. It don't really matter. We ain't playing a whole season. Whatever. Nah, that banner still goes up. Like, Baylor's still a national champion.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened in COVID. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still the Super Bowl champion in football, right? Voorhees men's basketball is still the AII champions in basketball. No matter how many games we played this season, how many the other team played, it does not matter. That's a legacy that those kids will never forget. And in a couple of weeks when they get those rings, man, that's something they'll never forget. That moment in Parago, Arkansas, a place where probably none of us had ever been until that moment. Walking off that court and that feeling that we had. So it's all about leaving a legacy. And that legacy goes not just for 4 years that they're here, but the 40 years after, man. Our relationship that we want to build with these guys. And just try to make them a man, man. Using this game of basketball to make them a man.
100%. Coach, I'm going to put the pressure on you. We started this show kicking off your season at Voorhees, and we put the pressure on and we talked about winning the championship and making it to nationals. We skipped right over how many ever games it needed to be win. We went straight to winning the conference and trying to make the national tournament. So I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't take the next step. Coach, has Voorhees ever won it back to back?
My knowledge is no. I'll have to go back, but I know in recent history, no. Not back.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We got a target.
I say that, and my guys know this. And I've told this. Jacoby now added to our group chat. All our recruiting class guys have been added to our team group chat. And I told them there's a lot difference when you're the hunter than being to hunted. There's a lot more work that has to go in when people are hunting you. And everybody in our conference, whether they played last year or not, everybody that we play, whether they're in our conference or not, are saying that's a conference champion. That's a team that went to the tournament. They're going to bring their A game every night. And if we don't come to the plate ready to bring it, then we're going to get our ass kicked. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that. But my guys are really understanding that. They're putting in the work with our off-season plan. They already know what's going to happen when we get on campus with preseason conditioning. Yeah. So it is what it is, man. We ready to take that challenge and defend our conference championship. But it's one game at a time. It's one day at a time. And that starts when we get them in workouts. We'll have Jacoby, and that was freshman here, for a workout June 12th. Then they'll be here for good July 17th. And then we'll get the rest of the guys here in August. And it starts then, man. Our season started the day our season ended, to be honest with you.
I'm going to tell you, Coach, I just have one request. If I can talk to the sports information director, if I can get to somebody in mass media or communications, whoever's calling the game, is if you guys win, I'm not going to say if, when Voorhees goes back-to-back and wins the conference for the second straight year, right? I want them to announce it like they do in boxing. You got to say, and still. And still.
Oh, man.
You got to put that in front of them before they announce you as conference champs.
And I'm going to add this, man, because, we have goals, too. We get to places, and my guys know this, we talk about this in recruiting. We talk about it with our guys, and we show them this. Voorhees, the last 10 years, was ranked number 8, if I'm not mistaken, in wins in all of HBCU basketball, right? And so we told our guys, why can't we be number 1? Like, why can't we? There's nothing stopping us from being number 1 but us. That means we just got to put in the work and do it. And one of our goals is to become the first HBCU to win the NAIA championship. Like that's a goal that we have. And we recruit that way. We practice that way. We play that way. Our mindset's that way. And that's really what we want to do here at Voorhees.
There's been a lot of talk in regards to HBCU basketball. I've seen a lot on Twitter. Before we go any further, actually, I do want to say my prayers and thoughts are going out to everyone at Morehouse College. That entire men's basketball program, the coaching staff, the entire community at Morehouse. We lost a great man in Coach Brewer. And Huff, probably more than any of us what he meant to not only the city, but that basketball program. I can't talk about HBCU basketball without wishing our brothers well at Morehouse. Talking about Coach Brewer
as a Morehouse grad and a guy who Coach Brewer coached and just mentored. You're talking about a guy who was there 33 years. Yes. I mean, how many times? You talk about any coach, whatever you talking about, HBCU or whatever, has been somewhere 33 years, 13 as an assistant, 20 as a head. They call him the Wizard of West End. Over 300 wins. But more importantly, all the men that he mentored, including myself. Like, there wasn't a time I couldn't get Coach on the phone to just ask him about something. Or he would call me, when I wasn't a college coach. Coach, what's out there for me? What I need to go be looking at, just the time we could just have conversations, whether it wasn't even about basketball, man. And to have that text and call that came on Sunday was It hurt, man. It hurt because you knew it hurt for his family. You know, he's still got a son that plays on the team.
Yeah.
He's got a son that's still in high school, wife, you know, and all the people. Like, people don't understand. Like, after playing at Morehouse, I went to coach at Booker T. Washington High School in Atlanta. Well, Coach Brewer coached at Booker T. Washington back when Elmore Spencer was there and they won a state championship. His sister worked there and was in the English department when I taught English there. Like, so this connection, not just him being my coach at Morehouse, but that connection just ran on and on. And even when I decided to take this job, Coach Brewer was one of the first people I talked to. Like, Coach, what do you think? Coach, I love it for you. You got to do it. You know, when I was at Alcorn, even when I decided to go back to high school. So it's a blow, not just for HBCU basketball, but for college basketball. I mean, even John Calipari tweeted about what he meant, you know, and I think there'll be nobody that can replace that, man. He just meant so much to the Morehouse and Atlanta and basketball community.
100%. Coach Brewer was Morehouse. As much as anybody I've ever known that was Morehouse College, Coach Brewer was Morehouse. So that legacy will live on. That's what I've been continued to tweet. I want to make sure that brother's name is never forgotten. That legacy will definitely live on. He's mentored far too many people and been a special part of too many lives to let that ever go. So our prayers, thoughts, condolences to his entire family, to everybody at Morehouse College. So didn't want to have that HBCU basketball conversation without that. I felt like that was just too important. A lot of things get tossed around when we talk about HBCU basketball. One of the things that gets tossed out there so often is recruiting. We understand, and maybe we don't understand, that everybody's budget is different, and that can hamstring a program at times when your budget doesn't allow you to do certain things or to travel like you want to. But Huff, you have seemed to be able to stretch that budget, and that you've been able to make your rounds as much as any coach that I've seen during this recruiting cycle and the past recruiting cycle when you first arrived at Voorhees. I'll toss this out to you first, and then we'll come to Coach Crosby. But how is it that you still have seemed to, for lack of a better phrase, be everywhere when it comes to recruiting? How is that even possible? Can you give some of the coaches that may be listening just a few tips, a few pieces of strategy that have allowed you to be able to kind of change that thought process around HBCUs and their willingness to get out and recruit?
Man, to me, it goes back to when I first got into college, and I worked for a guy named Mark Byington at Georgia Southern, and his saying was find a way, right? And that always stuck with me about find a way. Like, we can make excuses about anything in our life about why we can't get it done. But as three men on here, and I know both of you are married, when you were courting your wife, you found a way to try to, she want to go to this restaurant, I need to find a way to try to get it done. She wants this, I need to find a way. Well, it's the same thing in recruiting for me. Like, if I need to be out somewhere, I need to find a way to get it done. It might mean I have to go in my own pocket. It might mean I have to stay on sleep at a friend's house. But whatever the case may be, that we've got to, like, I call it a triangle here, you know, or maybe a circle. But we've got a little triangle here from the South Carolina to Atlanta to Charlotte. Like that little circle that goes right around there, that we've got to really, I got to be able to get in my car, and if I need to drive, or one of my assistants get in their car, and we got to be able to drive to those places, right? And that's whether we're going to need recruiting money or not. You know, you got to be able to get things done, and the way you get things done is just finding a way. And then it's about those relationships, man. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say those relationships didn't matter. Like relationships before I got here that said, hey, you need to go here, you need to go there. You know, but when I first got here, the blessing about all of this, and I tell anybody, was that we didn't have to play in November and December. And that allowed me time to get out and build these relationships in South Carolina and get to any events that was going on. I got to see practice. I got to see games. I got to see tournaments that if we had started playing in November, I wouldn't have been able to build those relationships. So you got to get out to build relationships. And sometimes recruiting isn't about who you can recruit right now. It's just about building that relationship for, could be 5-10 years down the road. You never know. But you got to build that relationship with someone so that you're in their gym, even when they don't have a player, that they just call you to talk basketball. That, you know, when Jacoby's not even on our team anymore, coach is gonna say, "You want to come by the house and eat? Let's chop it up." That's the kind of stuff that you got to have, and you got to turn over every leaf. Like sometimes you're gonna have to look at the emails you don't want to look at that people are sending you and say, "Oh, there's a stud right there that I didn't even know about who's sending me an email." Then there's gonna be times that somebody says there's an event here that you've never been to that you're gonna have to get in the car and drive. So it's just about finding a way to get it done.
Coach Crosby, I'll toss it out to you. Have you seen anything when it comes to recruiting at Voorhees now that maybe exceeded that expectation that you had, or the expectations that you've had since you've been a head coach there at Bainbridge?
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I tell Coach Huff, man, this Monday, man, I just said how haters. I mean, he's killing the recruiting area, man. He's killing the process, man. But you know, he came in. He's going and he's building the relationships to people that we haven't really. I mean, I'm 7-10 miles away from Voorhees. Not knock on nobody, but I never really had a chance to sit down with the coaches before. You know, Coach Huff came in and built that relationship, and Coach Jay Williams. You know, he also, you know, came in as assistant coach. And then our kids know him, and our kids know these coaches like, I mean, they know the faces. I mean, even our young kids know them. You know, so they said, man, Voorhees is, I mean, they hot, you know. So, I mean, he just came in the state. I told him the other day, man, the state know about him. Everybody want to know how he's doing it. You know, how this guy's doing this, man, how he's getting these kids in. You know, he's in Texas getting the kid. I mean, he's getting one of the best point guards out of Georgia, you know, in Atlanta area. Then he went down in the South Georgia, right outside of Screven, and get a 6'7" kid that people not knew about him, but he was in a little diamond in the rough. You know, so you say, man, how he getting these kids, you know? But like you said, it's find a way. You know, that's one thing we say, man. You know, even at my school, I might not have the best facility everybody else, but I'm going to find a way to get it done, you know? And that's what he's doing, man. He just find a way to get it done. And he's blowing up with the recruitment, you know. I look at how he's changing his area because Morris College is hired that's where my wife graduated from. You know, we big HBCU school. So she alumni from Morris College, and they just hired a new coach. And, you know, what they gunning at is they gunning at Coach Huff and Voorhees. You know, I hate to say it. You know, how can this guy come in and take some of the best kids in South Carolina and go into Georgia? So, you know, you got to if you're going to compete, you got to go ahead and get the best guy that could compete against him. So, I mean, because Huff is setting the stages. I mean, the status is so high for it right now. I mean, he is killing the recruiting process.
I love it. I can't emphasize enough how great it is to have good college teams in an area. It's just great for the game. It gives kids something to aspire to. It gives a little extra spark. I was listening to a podcast from some guys in New York, and they were saying, man, the whole city is different when the Knicks are good. The whole city feels different. The Knicks are in the playoffs. The whole city feels different. But I felt that way with any city. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. When my Louisville Cardinals are really good, the whole city is different. When Lamar Jackson was at the University of Louisville, before then, people couldn't care about football. It was Teddy Bridgewater. Everybody went to sleep. Lamar Jackson, right? It woke the whole city up. So I love it that Denmark is awake. And not to say that they weren't awake before. We understand, you know, what the tradition has been, but we also know how hard it is to pass the torch from one winning coach to another coach and to keep that thing going. So it makes me smile, man. I feel great knowing that not only did you keep it going, but Denmark and the surrounding areas is on fire for basketball because of what y'all got going on. Coach, I want to talk, Coach Crosby. I want to talk about something that's I'm sure is near and dear to your heart. I'm gonna drop this up on the screen. I'm a dad. My son plays. When this moment happens for him, I have no idea how I'm going to respond. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Coach, I'll toss it to you. You got an opportunity to coach your son and watch him play throughout high school, and now he is committed to Voorhees. Jacoby Crosby committed to Voorhees. Coach, how are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Help me prepare, Coach.
We did it Thanksgiving Day, man. Coach Huff came down and he watched him practice, and they built that relationship. And he was like, Daddy, man, I wanna do something different. He's a different guy. He's a guy that don't like to follow a lot of other people, so he wanted to do something different. And then the thing about it was, when we went to watch practice, he knew how, like, this is where I want to be at. I told him, I said, Coach Huff, now that's going to develop you as a great basketball player. He's going to develop you as a great young man, and that's something that I want him to be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something I'm doing at home. Me and his mom, always trying to raise him to be the best person he could be. But, everybody kind of, say, you go. He had a lot of other schools he could have chose, to go to. But HBCU was something that he always wanted to do. He wanted to say, hey, I want to go play because, it's special. His family, my family is a Voorhees, man. My whole family, his grandmama is graduated from Voorhees. My brother, he's coach at OW, the head football coach at OW. He graduated from Voorhees with a master's with math, math and degree in Voorhees. His aunt, my sister, and my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. So that's family, man. So he was like, this is where I want to be. This is my roots, man. This is where I could be at. My family can come watch me. I'm playing for one of the best coaches around because we did our research on Coach Huff. He was a one of so-called could be a legend in Atlanta. So that's the thing. So kids do research. Now you get on social media, you can't hide nothing now. So you know what's the background on people. So it was exciting, man. Knowing, you get a chance to go 10 miles away, you get a chance to watch him. You get a chance to see a great coach develop him. It could be an hour away. Coach Huff an hour away or 2 hours away. It was more. You don't go to school for a coach, but that's as a parent you want somebody that you could trust, and that's what it was. A lot of coaches was telling me, oh, how good Jacoby could be basketball and this and that. Coach Huff was just real with me. He got a lot he could work on. Coach, I'm gonna get him to that point. If you want to be good, I'm gonna get him to that point. And I'm gonna develop him as a young man. So that was the selling point for me, and we fell in love with it. Me, my wife, and my family, man. And Jacoby, he's ready to go to work for him.
I love it, Coach. Do you want to talk about your commit?
Man, I'm gonna first start off. I remember that text I got on Thanksgiving Day. It had me hyped. I was ready. Like I had already ate, and I was like, man, this might be the best Thanksgiving ever right here, right? We're just excited about it. And I know James just put in the chat, like, the ball is somehow attracted to Jacoby. Like, there's not a lot of times you can say that about a player. It just the ball finds his hand no matter what. Offensive rebounds, deflections, whatever the case may be. And what we saw was a kid that had so much more potential that he could get to. Like, he was already good, but he's got a chance to be really great. And then his character and how hard he wants to put in the work, that just made it even better. And you always got to have a lefty now, a lefty that can do some stuff, right? So a 6'5", 6'6" lefty that can, I think, is going to grow some more. Got long arms, brings that length and athleticism that we like. We're just so excited about getting him on campus. And we talk about family a lot of times, man. And that was our selling point for Jacoby. I think a lot of times we try to use this cookie cutter recruiting approach to every kid that we're recruiting, but I think you got to have an individualized plan of recruitment for everybody. And for Jacoby, it really was. We talk about family already in this program, but for him, we really talked about being a change, doing something different, but also realizing how you could continue that legacy in his family. You know, because I remember when we first found out that he had a bunch of family members that went here, that changed our recruiting pitch right there. Like, we got to use that to our advantage, because that's what we really want. Like, to get more people who have been at Voorhees, who graduated from Voorhees, to come back through here. That's only going to make this campus, is only going to make this institution better, right? And so we kind of call Jacoby our hometown guy. Like, I think they put his picture in the newspaper and everything when he committed to us. Like, it was big time, man. Like, because his dad's right. He could have went anywhere else. Could have went a lot of places that are much bigger than Voorhees. But he wanted to be that change that we talked about, and we're excited to have him in our recruiting class.
I love it. And I can't wait to get in that gym and hear it rocking. I hope. Are we going to get fans in the gym this year? I'm hoping so.
We are back to normal from what everything that we're saying. So homecoming is November.
Oh, what?
I mean, that's what everybody's waiting for. Homecoming.
Hey, you gonna have that field loaded. It's gonna be packed out there, man.
Coach Crosby can tell you what homecoming's like now, Dre. So
I've never experienced it. I can't wait. Coach Crosby, Huff will tell you I am a little loud at games sometimes. I get a little animated. I get a little excited. It's just the basketball lover in me. But I can't wait.
My wife, man. My wife, I tell you, I'm gonna put on the other side of the court next time we play. Hey, because when you winning, hey, she hollering, "Oh, Coach Huff, Coach Crosby." And when something go wrong, what Coach Huff and Coach Crosby do?
I love it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Game in and game out. I love that these guys are coming in and going to get a full season, a full preseason. Like you said, preseason conditioning, summer workouts, to be able to get in and get going and learn, and then tip it off proper in front of fans, and just the whole thing of being able to have that school pride of having the student section there and everybody there is going to be awesome. So I can't wait to get it going. Coach, you brought something else to town, not just a lot of recruits. You brought something else to town that I think is going to be vital to the growth of the program. Got the Denmark Summer Explosion Series being played in Denmark, South Carolina, on campus at Voorhees College, and also Denmark Tech. Got guys coming in, shot clock games being played, a lot of interesting matchups. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Man, we're excited. Today's the 2nd, so we're actually 2 weeks away from this thing getting going, man. And I mean, Dre, you've been around it when we ran this in Atlanta, and I think it was, it's something that we had to do here. It speaks to what we're trying to do here in Denmark, not just us, but what Coach Payne's trying to do at Denmark Tech, man. And, I think it helps these kids. One thing anybody ever knows about me, I'm about a kid and making sure they get the exposure they need, whether they end up playing for me or not. So we've got some great teams that, whether they're from South Carolina or whether they're from Georgia, coming in to really get some great competition, man. And we're excited. Coach Crosby team is going to be there both days. I'm just really excited to see the level of talent, the level of coaching, to let people see, what Denmark has to offer. Yeah, we're a small town, but what we have to offer is something that's definitely unique. And Coach Williams is ready and wearing to get his Tiger Spot concession stand up and going.
Coach, what type of concessions will you have? I'm always interested in food. If there is a homemade chicken sandwich or a fried fish sandwich that you might be selling on plain white bread, you might have a few sales when I make it down there, Coach. You might make a living just off of me by yourself. But, Coach, I'm so happy to see the Summer Explosion coming. It was incredible here in Atlanta. It did provide a lot of opportunities for a lot of kids. you saw kids get offers because of it. You saw kids blow up recruiting wise, right? Maybe not off of offers, but coaches tracking them and developing interest. You've seen that happen. And I felt like it was a great place even for coaches to get better at their craft and hone their skills. What I didn't expect to see in Summer Explosion that I ended up seeing, it was almost like a clinic in a way, because I saw a lot of coaches watching a lot of other guys' games with those notebooks out. Coach Crosby, I don't know if Huff is still carrying the notebook there. He may have switched. We was on him so hard. He may have switched.
Hey, I came in. We about to play that Saturday for our playoff game. He was at a local high school, Demarcola. And I came in. I thought he was just taking the pad for this recruiting process, But everywhere he go, he got that pad. He's writing it down, writing something down. I thought he right, but he might be still a little setter now. I don't know, But now he still carrying. He still carrying.
You gotta learn from everybody, man. There's something you can now, right?
Some things don't change. If you sit next to coach in the game, every now and then he'll tap you. And I've been lucky enough to see the notebook every now and then. He'll open it up. Mondre, look, this is what they're doing right here. It's like, how do you see that one time and then draw it up like that? Like, I need to see that and rewind it on the TV 57 times to get it. But he's catching it and capturing it just like that, and it's all going to the notebook. I'm glad to see that hasn't changed. Some of my co-hosts on the podcast gave him such a hard time. I thought he was going to switch to an iPad or something like that, Coach.
I still got a notebook.
I want the notebooks to last forever, but that is one thing that I didn't expect, though, Coach. I did not expect the coaches to handle the Summer Explosion the way that they did. And I loved it. I love seeing guys watching each other's game, really paying attention. It seemed like everybody really got better. Coach Crosby, what are some of your expectations, some of the things that you're looking forward to in participating in it?
The competition, man. Our kids got to get used to seeing different style of basketball. Everybody got a different style of basketball. I look at Georgia. They the kids kind of play a little different than our kids. The speed of it is a little different. So now, I tell our kids, we're going to win. We have a chance to win the conference every year. That's how we feel. But if we get in the summer and get against some teams that's going to make us change the way we play, we got to play faster. We're going to change the way I coach, because you always want to get better. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? So you get around good people, it's going to make you better. So when Coach Huff put it out there, I was like, I'm jumping on it, because I knew that cats from Atlanta was coming down. Before they even commit, I knew they was coming, because Coach Huff, name. So it's gonna make us better. It's gonna make my coaching staff better, because I have some of the best coaches around, man. One of my assistant coaches, Kenneth Carter, he helps the girls basketball team at Voorhees, and he's my assistant head. And I got a great basketball operation guy that's gonna get around, that's gonna see them other guys that Coach Huff is bringing in, and it's gonna make our overall program in Bamberg basketball better. So that's what I want. I want to find out, how Coach Huff got to that level, because I want to get to that level. And I want my basketball players in my program to get to that elite level. You know what I'm saying? And I tell our kids that when you got a good team, it's coaches running that team. But when you got an elite team, your players running that team. So I want to get to that point where I got an elite team. So I got to get them around elite other players that they understand that this is how they do it. And so that's what I'm ready for, man. Just to get around the good programs that coming out of Georgia and all over, so I can compete with them and learn from the best, man.
That's awesome. Coach Crosby, what are your thoughts on the shot clock being a part of this event?
I think, honestly, I try to, and Coach Huff know the style that I play. I tell our kids, we want to kind of score in 7 seconds. That's our motto. We want to score in 7 seconds. I want to score before the concrete gets settled. I tell kids all the time, my thing was, if we could score before the defense gets settled, then we got a chance. So the shot clock for me is going to be good, because, we transition a lot. That's what we play, because the thing in high school, I feel like, and that's what Coach Huff got to work with Jacoby on, is that we say high school kids don't like to play transition defense. That's the hardest thing to play.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody want to bounce that ball up the court, boom, 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 and let the defense get settled. And that's what. So the shot clock to me is going to help us out. I think it's going to make our kids play a little faster, and because we tell our kids, we got something called 35 second, a little drill we do that all 5 kids got to score in 35 seconds. So I think that's going to help us out. So I told our kids when I gave the schedule out today, we had weight room 9 o'clock this morning. Our basketball team did. And I told them, man, we playing 2 games with shot clocks, and we got to score before the defense gets settled. For the concrete gets settled, let's get going. So I think it's going to be fun for us, man.
I love it, Coach. I absolutely love the addition of the shot clock, Coach. Coach Huff, I'll go to you. As a college coach now, you're evaluating, you're looking at talent. What are some of the things that you're going to be looking for, and does having a shot clock there give you a better evaluation than it would if you didn't have the shot clock present?
Definitely, the shot clock gives us a better evaluation of how guys translate, how they're able to interpret and transfer what they're getting from their coach to the floor, and how quickly they can get it done. We want to be able to see translatable skill set. Like, so for instance, for us, like a lot of times we get videos and stuff, and it's all stuff that a kid scores in transition, right? And that's good, but like even though there's a shot clock, can the kid run a set knowing how much time's on the shot clock and help his team get the shot that they really need? Does the kid understand and know how to defend mentally, knowing that there's a shot clock? All right, now we get late in the shot clock. I want to make sure I don't foul late in the shot clock. So little things like that, man, that we're trying to look for when we're putting this event on. To be honest, we want to take some players back and eventually invite them to our elite camp, which we're going to have in August. We want to make this an annual event here in Denmark with Denmark Tech. We want to really blow this thing up, man, because what I've learned is that a lot of South Carolina teams have done things a certain way for so long. So they go to the same places in June that they went to 10 years ago, right? So here's something new, and we want to really put it out about why this is going to be good for them. They're going to have referees. It's not going to be college players reffing. They're going to have real referees. It's going to be a shot clock. You're going to be playing on the college court, both of them. You're going to have college personnel in there to evaluate you, and it may not just be us at Voorhees or Denmark Tech. The big thing at non-Division Ones is that other schools can come watch. If it's not a dead period, the D2s, other NAIAs, other JUCOs can actually come watch these games in the summertime, and it's not against the rule. So they never know who's going to walk into a gym to be able to see them this summer when they're here in Denmark. You got to realize you've got Claflin that's 30 minutes away. You've got Morris, which is right down the road. You got CIU, which is right down the road. So we've got a lot of schools that can come in. You got Allen and Benedict, who are our way, who can come in and watch these games, man, and watch these players get better. And that's why we really wanted to do it, man.
Going to be huge. I can't stress enough, Denmark, I hope you guys are ready. Year over year, the summer explosion got better in Atlanta. Looking at the matchups and the teams that are coming in year one, can't even imagine year 2, year 3, year 4 of the summer explosion is just going to get bigger and bigger and better every single year. So I'm happy it's happening. I can't wait to be a part of it. I'll be there. We'll be doing a live podcast directly from campus. We'll maybe try to do pregame, postgame, maybe. But we will get a live show directly from the summer explosion. I'll be there to break it down. We'll talk about some of the stock risers. We'll talk about who played extremely well. We'll talk about coaches lock in with us. We'll definitely talk about who you need to be tracking, who it is that you don't know that you should know. Coaches, we'll give you guys the scoop on it. And I can't wait to be a part of it. Happy to do that, and honored to be invited to be able to be a part of it. So, guys, as we close, am I leaving anything? Am I forgetting anything, coaches?
And the last thing I want to say is, man, I want to, we this saying that's kind of out there right now is make sure you give people flowers while they're still here, man. And we talk about coaches all the time and what it's about. We want to win games. We're about building men, but we also want to use this basketball thing to help kids pay for their education. And I would be mistaken if I let this show get off without saying Coach had 3 guys, which includes his son that got scholarships to go play at the next level. And I remember when I was at that ceremony, to me, that was big time. Like to get 3 guys on a team to go be playing at the next level, Jacoby with us, Brendan with CIU, if I'm correct, and Justin is going JUCO in New Jersey. I forgot the name of the school, but he's going JUCO in New Jersey. Like that's really big.
Huge.
Coach. Thank you.
It's huge, Coach.
Thank you.
Every young man that we get in college, man, it's an amazing accomplishment. Amazing accomplishment. They'll thank you later when they realize what those student loans could have looked like.
You're right. I said, man, we did history, man. We made history. Like Coach said, I hear Coach say that, always leave a legacy. That's something that these 3 guys did, man. They never won 20 games. They never went undefeated in the conference. They did that this year. We never had 3 kids in the history of our school sign basketball scholarships. So they did some big things this year, man. And like Coach said, sometimes people complain about COVID, but sometimes it was a blessing. We got a chance to. A lot of people learned and got better in COVID. So, but these 3 guys worked, man, and they left a legacy here, man. They left a legacy. I'm proud of them.
For sure. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations to the kids as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in and joining in for Voorhees Tiger Vision. This has been our 15th episode as we push through the summer and making our way. So be sure to stay tuned and lock in every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. You never know who you'll have an opportunity to meet next. So make sure you lock in with us. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching. This is Voorhees Tiger Vision. Good night.
All right.